as we say in New York, STFU. Oh, seriously, guys, here's what's happening. So, Brian, oh, hello. There's about 3 million people watching you right now. Do you have anything to say to them? What's your name?
Brandy.
Sorry?
Brandy.
Brandy. This is Brandy. Planet. Brandy is...
We're doing a live broadcast.
Great. Oh, wow, hi.
If you get a call from Spielberg tomorrow, I want my 10%. That's how we roll. So, what's happening here is Brian is the guy with the information. I am not the guy with the information. Okay? You know, I've learned a lot over the last few months. However, you know, we've drove up here. We've been a week, pretty much, on the road. Just literally whistle stop, but our main point of call is always here. I'm not saying that to appease you guys. I'm saying that because I've got to watch my language, haven't I? I'm not in New York.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's all right for you. It's just Heidi has done a fantastic job. She has. Not enough, but
I agree with you, not enough.
thank you. Thanks for bailing me out on that. And you know, we were working on doing a road trip. I think next year, weren't we? Originally was the plan, and my plan was to get out of New York City before the weather changed. And I came to Spokane. However, Brian called me. I mean, we speak all the time, and I will explain how we got working together a few years ago. Brian called me and said, "I'm picking up this custom Jeep in San Antonio, Texas. My love of Texas is not high on the scale." So I said, "I'll meet you in Arizona," which is what we did. And in Arizona, we had 4 or 5 people that already work with us in Phoenix. Had a great meeting with him. I don't know what you expected here today. You thought some guy in a suit was going to show up with a whiteboard and markers. Those guys don't really work well with me, I'm going to be honest with you. Okay, so the thing is, if you wore a suit, you wouldn't be allowed in. No, you're adults. All right. But anyway, so what we've done is literally a whistle-stop tour. We went to Phoenix, Arizona. We stopped in at Yuma on the way. I just wanted to be in Yuma 310, just for tacos. Made it to San Diego. Had a great couple of days in San Diego. Loved the place. Met some people there, and we had two things, didn't we, in San Diego? So all we did was just hang out in places. Then Marina Del Rey. That was after we took a 60-mile detour to get your hair done. Is that correct?
That's correct.
You didn't want me to mention that on live streaming?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll mention it. 60-mile detour. Don't tell anyone. Hi, it's Paul. So we did LA, then we where was next? Well, we attempted to get to San Fran, except there was a wreck, so we did a detour up in Sausalito, and then we were supposed to go to Portland, but our priority was getting here to see you guys. And we kind of figured out if we went to Portland, we could have probably done it, but we wouldn't have enough. We would have got here, but probably it intensely. I don't know you are, but I'm tired. You're the one that's driving. I'm the one that's playing on Facebook all day. So obviously I'm working hard. Kind of. And I appreciate it, buddy, by the way. I'm glad I don't have a driver's license. I know this morning you really didn't want to drive, but anyway. So we ended up here, and that's the thing. So we've actually cut Portland out to get to you guys tonight. Originally we're going to do 2 nights, and then we've got to get to Seattle. The Jeep's got to get on the ferry to Anchorage. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just going, whatever. I have a bag and I'm good to go. So what I want to just talk about very briefly is my background, and we met through the same person who's been, he originally hired me back in the 80s to knock on doors selling water filters. Yeah, I knocked on doors. No big deal. And I was crap at it. Okay. I got better. And that man, Tim, eventually became my business partner in various ventures. And then you met him, what, 3 years ago? 4 years ago in another venture. And through that, and that was also in the health and health industry, we kind of became connected. The guy sold that business, and I was surplus to requirements. We did that. And, you know, we just stayed connected as friends. And you told me, now it was 18 months ago, you said we're working on something, I can't tell you what it is, don't panic, do what you got to do, and as things are unrolling, I'll keep you informed. And then, I was living in Spanish Harlem, New York City. I get a message saying, what's your address? FedEx guy shows up, it's near my birthday, I open the FedEx box, with the guy there, thinking it's a birthday present, and there was 2 clear plastic bags full of white powder. Okay. So, I'm in, not just New York City, I'm in Spanish Harlem, which is kind of like the white powder capital of the world. And I'm trying to explain to the FedEx guy, it's not what you think it is, but I had no clue what it was. And it came from an address somewhere near the Mexican border, which really helped everything. And it was just like, take these and pee on these. Okay, it's like, even by my standards, I don't generally get those requests every day. Once a month usually, but anyway. And so I did it. No clue, but we've worked together before, just what you guys get now in those packets with labels and stuff, no. Just it's like one of the things you find in the kitchen drawer, and some guy putting white powder in it. I was like, AFA, take this, man. Okay, sure. And hey, I felt good, that's for sure. By day 3, 2 days with. By day 3, and this was late April, early May. I had no clue. You did ask me to read a book about a year ago, which I forgot the title of, so I still actually haven't read it. But I'm sure it's amazing. I have YouTube. Started using it. I said, wow, this stuff's good. And for me, and I wasn't in great shape at the time. I've been through all that thing, and the last time we worked together, I was in ultra marathons. I managed to injure myself badly to the point I couldn't train for 2 years at all. All last winter, I sat inside a New York apartment eating pizza, so I wasn't in great shape. And by day 3, this is strange, my stomach muscles are tight. So I thought, I need some more of this stuff. We don't have any more. Why would you send me something? Almost get me hooked. And then say, that's it. So, I wasn't quite scratching up the doors, but, And then, about 2 weeks later, he messaged me and said, it's coming in a week or 2. The night before, I'll let you know, so you're good to go. Night before, 5 in the morning, 10 o'clock. You're getting really famous, Well, they're all on here now. 10 o'clock next day, literally, I started typing in. I got the text. Good to go, started typing. I think I was order number 7. Which meant a couple of people can type faster than me because I was 1 And we went through, well, you can pretty much tell us this, but when this business started, it was very much in the test phase. So we had 3 months worth of product to test by invitation only. You couldn't get on the website, it was just locked down. It was there, but you couldn't see anything. You couldn't find out anything, you couldn't Google anything. And people are questioning our whole business mentality. Even though you couldn't get in, couldn't find it, couldn't see, it was invite only for like a prototype team. We went through 3 months with the products in the first 3 weeks, to the point at which we ran out. I couldn't get my fix after a month. So then I started eating a bit keto, and then I tried a few other things. I know one of the common questions you probably get is what happens if you stop taking it. So everything I do, I biohack on myself. You know, I'm the guy that will put it in pints of vodka and see how many pints of vodka I can drink in keto. Don't try it. It's great for a while. But what I want to do, and not a long drawn out thing, because I'm just some guy. So I want to tell you, very briefly, when I met Brian, my original business partner Tim, we had a few businesses. We started one in 1997 with about whatever the figure was, $20,000, $50,000. But we were ahead of an industry. It doesn't even matter what the industry is, I'm not even going to go into that. But we've done this a few times. Got in ahead of an industry. Often when people said it couldn't be done. Now because Tim and I and our other partners are all dropouts, we don't understand the research aspects of things. We just go, well, this is a good idea. Let's try this. This looks right. Do they always work out? No, they don't. However, we started a business with about 20,000, maybe 50,000, I can't remember. We ran an IPO in the early, about 2002. To date, as far as I'm correct, and I'm, the SEC may be watching, so as far as I can recall, it's the most explosive IPO in Canadian market history to date. So it had, at its peak, it was valued about $3 billion. So I dropped out for a few years, $3 billion with a B, which is okay for guys that can't count. And I dropped out, went traveling, did my thing, got dragged back into my old business, not realizing why. We talked before about Texas, ended up in Texas, then, excuse me, wine, by the way, don't drink it when you're doing the thing. So I got dragged back into my own business. Whatever. 8 years later, when we started it was the Wild West. It was fun and games. And then it got into the industry, got heavily regulated, and it all changed. It wasn't fun and games for me. So on Sunday morning, when people are saying, "Can you do a report?" I don't know what a report is. I'm just like, it's not for me. I'm out. But what I've done, I ended up on Wall Street running a business worth $3 billion. I went out for a sandwich on a Monday morning and changed my phone number and just vanished. Not the smartest financial move I ever made in my life, I can tell you. I didn't get my last paycheck. However, I got my freedom back. I changed my phone number, and the one person I called was Tim, just to give him a number. And Tim just told me, you've got to get yourself in shape. And since that day, I put that over everything. Over finances, over everything. I had a 5-year payoff from Wall Street, so whatever that was. I didn't see it, so I don't know. But what I do want to say is this. I've seen Heidi's, I use the term explosive growth, but phenomenal growth. And I remember that first day. Do you remember this? The first message you ever got from me about Facebook?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, take it off. Mm-hmm. Take it down now. So what I will say about Heidi is 100% coachable. Well, by coachable, what I don't mean is I'm not on the phone every day saying do this, do that, do this, do that. We set everything up. And listen, guys, I understand, because I know a few of you, your team have left my secret group. I suspect because of my Brooklynese, we'll call it. Okay. And listen, our vibe attracts our tribe. But what I will say is, when I said to Heidi, take that off now. Okay, I don't work like everyone else, and I never have in any other business. However, I care about getting the job done and working with a team. So in 1993, I got in another startup business, completely unconnected to this, and this is the point of what I'm talking about here. Okay? Now you can treat this as complete BS, or you can treat it as whatever it is. I was in the UK. I'd worked with Tim before in another industry. I had to leave Canada in a hurry. I know this is being recorded, we'll just leave it. I had to leave in a hurry. Okay? Yeah, please. I'm not going back there, doesn't it? And I get a phone call. Tom, we've got there's a new business starting up. It's not just rolling out, new industry. Didn't have a clue. Oh, hello. You're here for the speed dating? Wonderful. Take a number. And, oh, you've got bride already. Well done. You've got the booby bride. Your wife's not watching this, is she, bride? Okay. So, I get this phone call. I'm in the UK, and I think I've got, everything sorted out. I'm in my mid-20s. I'd lie about my age as well, by the way. So I'm in my mid-20s-ish. And, I've got the car that's paid for, and I've got the apartment that's rented, and back then, I've got the stereo and the TV and all. I've got little bits and pieces. And I get this call. Tom, listen, we've got this thing going on, I need you over here. I'm actually okay, Tim, I'm good. No, you don't understand. And Tim, you know what, one day you may even meet this guy. He's not connected with this business any way, shape or form, but he's just one of those guys that if you say no to him, he gets even more excited. It's just like, oh, no, Tom, you don't understand. No, I don't understand. Leave me alone. No, Tom. 2,000 deals a week, 10,000 a week each between two of you. And what? I mean, it's just stupid figures I'd never heard of in my life. When I worked with him before, I thought I was doing it well at, maybe a couple of $100,000 a year, commission only. So these figures he's talking to me about are nuts. And anyway, he convinces me to upturn my whole life, pretty much like last week, meet me in Phoenix, okay, kind of the same. Upturn my whole life, go to Canada on 2 days' notice to dive in something I had no clue what I was doing. However, I had faith in him, and it was just one of those things. It felt right, and I can't put it more than that. It just felt right. I show up in Canada like I showed up in Phoenix, with a bag and a backpack. I just dumped everything, put stuff in storage. Okay, new adventure, let's go. I know that's a bit extreme for a lot of people. So, didn't know what I was doing. Maybe some of you in this industry don't know what you're doing. I really still don't. I'm still learning, but I've learned a lot in the last 6 months. Not been studying, I just, Google. I mean, this was, when I was in that industry, there was no Google as may exist. Or maybe it did, I didn't know about it. So, I kind of learned, and I learned by watching people. So the first day, I go there, I watch this classroom training thing, I show up in a suit, he looks at me saying, why are you dressed like that? This is business. We don't run businesses that way. Oh, that's cool. So I watched the training class and it was about the technical side of it. I'll tell you right now with this industry, I simplify it. If someone asks me, what's it all about? I don't know. You guys, some of you guys are doctors here. You tie me in knots. I haven't got a clue. I'm not going to fake it. But I just simplify it. SEAL team guys, especially divers, were having issues with seizures, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. Keep it simple. Our body's designed to run 2 fuels. Like a hybrid, keep it simple. So, that particular industry, I went through this, that, and the other, and he said, I want you to go out tonight and watch this person. He was knocking on doors back then. I went to watch this person work. The guy's name was Arnold. Nice guy. Didn't really have a lot of fire or inspiration in him. I watched him. Next day, went back to Tim and said, Arnold's a nice guy. If I float around the world, I want to watch the best guy you've got. Well, he's busy. Okay, I've flown around the world. I'm not interested in busy. Okay? I'm not playing games here. Let me watch him. There was a guy called Dr. Bob, Dr. something. And his name was very hard to pronounce, a Polish name, I can't remember. So I watched this guy, I couldn't even understand him, but I figured it out. So the next day I go and work on my own, and I work all day long. And some of you guys might, and I'm giving you parallels here, some of you guys, if you're working with us already, or you may not be working with us, or you may be exploring here, whatever, it's fine. You may find that, you think you've got people that say they want to lose fat, or they want to do this, or they want to do that. Well, in reality, lots of people will say stuff. As you get better, what you will find is you've got the same things that come up. I know one of the most common questions someone will ask me in this industry is, what happens if I stop taking it? I can tell my story. I know what happened to me when I stopped taking it and started eating, kept eating, sort of keto-ish. And by the way, I lived above a pizza joint and ice cream parlor, so keto-ish. Okay. But then I also know what happened when I started eating bread and pasta again. It threw me out. So I can answer those questions based on my own my own experience. In that old business, the same thing happened. I would only get 3 or 4 questions. The first day I went out all day long, all day long, all day long, all day long. I was expecting to get 10 customers. Called Tim at the end of the day. He said, "How do you go on?" I went, "Great, I got a customer." A customer. Gary, your experience gets 1 customer. You're supposed to get 10. Tomorrow I'll get 2. No, you need to get 10. 2. No, you need to get 10. I'll get 2. Just told you I'll get 2. And the day after I'll get 4. You need to get 10. All right, I'll tell you I'll get 10. I'll get 2 anyway. Leave me alone. 2. Next day 4. Next day was 8 or 9. The 5th day I was out, it was a Saturday morning. I ran out of paperwork. I got 30 clients in 3 hours, thinking that was normal because no one had told me what the parameters were. So when someone like Heidi goes out and says, "Well, I've just got 300 people in whatever 7 weeks," I never gave you any parameters. I didn't say you're supposed to get 1,000 in 7 weeks, or 30 in 7 weeks, or 50% customers, 50% facilities, promoters, whatever the term is. So there was no parameters. By the way, now you have parameters. Now we know what you can do. Now you can stand there, smile, say there, smile as well. No pressure. You rest up. So my point here is this: that first week I went out, and because I didn't know what I was doing, that first week knocking on doors, I made $20. And I wasn't disappointed at all. Well, I wasn't disappointed, to be honest. Yeah, I'd flown around the world, I made $20, and it turns out, what I didn't realise is back then it was all paperwork, and I physically had to hand the paperwork to someone to get paid. No one told me that. So I've got all these customers. Can I get money? No, you have to hand them in. Okay, got it. I'll tell you this right now. You can dismiss this as bullshit or not. I really don't care. This stuff is documented, evident, it's all over the internet. First week, $20. 8th week, $28,739. First week, $20. 8th week, $28,739. Different industry. I'm not telling you can do that in this industry. That industry is all based on upfront payments. Okay? So I'm not, don't get me wrong, for 1 minute saying that is doable here. If someone's done it, it's not me. However, my point is this, and the parallel is this. We start something, and it's not always working the way we want it to work, but it's a learning curve. And that first week was a learning curve. I didn't know what I was doing. But I learned from just speaking to enough people. And I learned the same things keep coming up. And some of you guys are getting the same things coming up, I'm sure. I'm not even, everyone's got their own little niche. I've got Chris who works with us up in everywhere, but he's connected with a bunch of pro athletes, cyclists and endurance people. They've got their own niche. I don't know the first thing about it, but they're all telling me the same thing over a week. I know they're running out of steam at the end. You're nodding your head. So I didn't know that, but I've heard it 5 times, so I know if I'm dealing now with elite, not endurance athletes, I know to bring up. When you start running out of steam right at the end? Yeah. I only know it from speaking to people. So my point here is this, guys. The parallels are exactly the same. Startup, not business, startup industry. I was in a startup industry. I've done this a few times. Startup industry. There's loads of startup businesses. So we're in a startup industry. Got the ball rolling before everyone else. Didn't, for me personally, I'm pretty much a slow learner. Didn't quite figure it out fast because I'm also kind of stubborn when it comes to, I like to learn but not be taught. That's just me personally. Some people sit in a room and want to be taught everything, and I just can't wait to get out of the room and figure it out. And the exponential growth. So, I've seen that happen time and time and time and time and time and time again in industries that I didn't really have a passion about. They were just industries. my passion, and you mentioned this before, my whole thing is I don't do much of it now. I'm too busy playing on Facebook all day and driving around the country. But my whole thing is instructing self-defense. Apparently I'm okay at it. But I don't do it much now, but it's aligned with one of my passions. I got out of Wall Street because I was a physical and mental wreck. That aligns with what I'm doing now to get myself and everyone else. And I think so I can relate to people when they can't sleep. I can relate to people eating garbage because they've not got any time in the day. I can relate to stress levels. And it's something I feel passionate about. So, guys, we're just passing through here. I wanted to meet you, and said to Heidi, we want to meet you guys. We met in Dallas, that was it. And I remember you said it's going to cost me $2,000 to come to Dallas. Why? Give me one good reason why I should come. And I just said, how much did you make in your first week?
Yeah.
That was it. I didn't talk anymore after that. And we're in Dallas. I may have had a few vodkas, by the way, when we met, because he was late. Oh no, I was early, sorry. So guys, listen. I don't know a lot about this industry. I'm learning fast because I talk to people all day long. And, what I don't do is I'm very... all my business, and this is different for everyone, 100% of my business is inbound through Facebook Messenger. I've not picked up the phone yet. 6 months? Give 5, 6 months? Well, since we've been open, about 3 really, isn't it? I haven't picked up the phone yet. I'm not telling you that's the right way or the wrong way to do it. If I had if I was in your situation, I've got people coming through the door. My door is Facebook. I run everything else through there, so that's kind of my door. But we all have our own niche. You might be a soccer mom, or you might have... didn't want to leave you out. You might have clients, or you might just have a unique niche that is based on your social life, your sports, with myself and Krav Maga instructors. I already know they all have joint pain because I have it. So whenever they message me, I don't talk about fat loss. I talk about joint pain. So we have our niche. So my point here is this, guys, and it's not really to talk money, but it's to talk positioning. We are positioned right now in a startup industry. I'm also the guy, by the way, that turned down a global deal with America Online to do the marketing for it. I don't get all my decisions right because Bill Gates said the internet will never catch on. So I talked to him and his brother out of it. I never catch on the internet thing. We had a global deal. Not always right, but that's a startup industry. This is a startup industry. What we've got to differentiate, guys, is from the status quo. If you've seen any of my rant videos about the health and fitness industry, those things, we can just call it, same with the food industry, I call people out on it. It's time for a change. It really is, because we've been buying into BS for years. It's time for a change, so we're ideally positioned. I'm not the guy with the technical stuff. Brian knows everything on the planet there is to know. Don't you? No, please, just say yes. Come on, dude, bail me out here. Brian, you want to talk for a few minutes? Okay. We need to turn it off before Brian starts speaking because he swears too much and his wife is watching.